Have you ever heard a story so strange, so unsettling, that it sends a shiver down your spine? A story that lingers in your mind long after you've heard it. Ireland, a land steeped in myth and legend, is also home to some of the most baffling real-life mysteries in history. Stories where the line between fact and folklore blurs, leaving behind only questions and an eerie silence. Today, we're journeying into the heart of the Emerald Isle to uncover 3 true stories that remain unsolved, each more perplexing than the last. From vanished children to inexplicable phenomena, these are the tales that even time has failed to explain. So, pour yourself a cup of tea, settle in, and prepare to question everything you think you know. Our first story takes us to the windswept coast of County Donegal in 1888, to a place known as Hornhead. This is the story of the vanished lighthouse keepers of the Seven Hunters. The Eilean Moor Lighthouse in Scotland is famous for its disappearing keepers, but decades earlier, a similar, and perhaps even stranger, event occurred off the Irish coast. A passing ship reported that the light at the recently built lighthouse was out. When a relief crew was sent to investigate, they found the lighthouse deserted. The 3 keepers, the head keeper, a seasoned veteran, and 2 younger assistants were gone. The last entry in the logbook was dated several days prior and spoke of a ferocious storm, a storm that no other ships or coastal towns in the area had reported. The entry described massive waves crashing over the top of the 200-foot cliff and the keepers praying in a way they hadn't since they were children. But the strangest part, the final entry was written in a calm hand, simply stating, "Storm past, sea calm. God is over all." When the relief crew arrived, the lighthouse was in perfect order. The table was set for a meal that was never eaten, a chair was knocked over as if someone had left in a hurry, and the keepers' oilskin coats were still hanging on their hooks, meaning they couldn't have gone outside. But they were gone. No bodies were ever found. No trace of them was ever discovered. What happened to those 3 men? Did a rogue wave, a phantom storm, snatch them from their post? Or was something far more sinister at play on that isolated rock? The mystery of the Hornhead Keepers is a chilling reminder of the raw, untamable power of the sea, and a puzzle that remains unsolved to this day. Next, we travel forward in time to the 1970s and a case that has haunted the Irish public consciousness for decades: the disappearance of Mary Boyle. In March 1977, 6-year-old Mary was visiting her grandparents' farm in Castleford, County Donegal. It was a remote, quiet place, surrounded by fields and peat bogs. On the day she vanished, March 18th, Mary was playing outside with her twin sister, and she decided to follow her uncle, who was carrying a ladder to a neighboring farmer's house just a few hundred yards away. She got about halfway there, then turned back, saying she was tired. That was the last time anyone ever saw her. An enormous search operation was launched. Hundreds of locals, police, and soldiers scoured the countryside. They drained lakes, searched bogs, and explored every inch of the rugged terrain. But they found nothing. Not a shoe, not a piece of clothing, not a single clue to explain what had happened to the little girl in the purple coat. Over the years, the case has taken many dark turns. Allegations of a cover-up, whispers of a suspect known to the family, and political interference have clouded the investigation. Mary's twin sister, Anne, has campaigned tirelessly for answers, believing her sister was murdered and that the person responsible was protected by powerful figures. Despite numerous reinvestigations and public appeals, the case officially remains a missing person inquiry. Mary Boyle simply walked away from her grandparents' home and vanished from the face of the earth. How can a child disappear in broad daylight, in a place where everyone knows everyone, without a single witness? Was she the victim of a tragic accident in the unforgiving landscape? Or is the truth something far more disturbing, hidden by a wall of silence for over 40 years? Our final mystery takes us to a different realm, entirely not of crime, but of the truly inexplicable. We're going to 19th century County Tipperary, to the home of the Cousin family, the site of the bizarre events known as the Great Amherst Mystery. Now, you might be thinking, Amherst, that's not in Ireland. And you're right, The story's main events took place in Amherst, Nova Scotia, Canada, but its roots and its central figure are deeply Irish. Esther Cox was a young Irish immigrant living with her sister's family, the Teeds, in a small Canadian town. In 1878, their house became the epicenter of some of the most well-documented poltergeist activity in history. It began with terrifying noises at night, bangs and thumps that shook the house. Soon, objects began to fly through the air on their own. Bedclothes were ripped from sleeping family members, and Esther herself would be tormented, slapped, and pricked by unseen forces. Most terrifying of all, strange messages began to appear, scrawled on the walls in a childlike hand, with one chilling phrase repeating, "Esther Cox, you are mine to kill." The activity was witnessed by dozens of people, neighbors, doctors, clergymen, and even a stage actor named Walter Hubble, who was so fascinated that he moved into the house to document the events, later publishing a book about his experiences. The phenomena seemed to follow Esther wherever she went. When she tried to find work, her employers were terrified by the ghostly happenings that accompanied her. The story is a classic poltergeist case, but what makes it so enduringly mysterious is the sheer volume of credible witnesses. These weren't just the claims of one frightened family. They were events seen and verified by a wide cross-section of a small, devout community. What was the source of this terrifying energy? Was Esther a victim of a malevolent spirit, or was she, perhaps unconsciously, the cause of it all? The Great Amherst Mystery, born from an Irish immigrant's trauma, remains one of history's most compelling and unnerving supernatural puzzles. From the desolate cliffs of Donegal to a haunted house across the Atlantic, these Irish mysteries share a common thread. They defy easy explanation. They are stories that have become part of the landscape, whispers on the wind that refuse to be silenced. They remind us that even in our modern, scientific world, there are still corners of darkness that we cannot illuminate, questions for which there are no answers. Which of these stories do you find the most unsettling? The idea of vanishing into thin air, a child's disappearance shrouded in conspiracy, or a house tormented by an unseen force? Each one forces us to confront the limits of our understanding. These tales are more than just campfire stories. They are part of Ireland's complex and often sorrowful history. They represent real loss, real fear, and the enduring human quest for answers. If you've been captivated by these unsolved stories from the Emerald Isle, please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. We have so many more hidden histories and baffling mysteries to explore together. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.